just thinking some of the most relieved that I ever was, of course, was when I was still alive after speaking to the Bannock Creek Indian Branch.
Yes, tell that story. Tell that story.
Yeah, I will. My grandfather was a wonderful man. I love him. He is a patriarch in the church, which is an interesting position, and he's been a patriarch for a very long time. He gave more than 2,000 patriarchal blessings. That's a lot of blessings.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very, very good. And he helped me with my life, helped me with all the things going on. Just thinking about him for a minute. I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Aggression. We were starting off on the things I feel really accomplished with. Well, grandfather asked my father, because grandfather was a missionary to the Bannock Indians, Bannock Shoshone Indians, which had the Fort Hall Indian Reservation. And they put on meetings, and he asked my father to bring our ward out and put on a sacrament meeting for him. Now, I am very young, like 7, and I had learned the Articles of Faith because I was there. Because Father taught me the Articles of Faith when I was tiny.
Uh-huh.
So I could do the Articles of Faith, and I said them once up in front of the senior Sunday school, because one of the brethren had me come up because he could hardly believe when I'd rattled him off, down there at the junior Sunday school. Then he hauled me up to senior Sunday school and said, I just want to have you listen to something, and said, okay, Howard, do it. I did. And Father said, that would be good. Why don't you do the Articles of Faith? We're going out to the Indians, because they were all Indians in those. We're going out to the Indians, to the Indian church, where grandfather's there, and you're going to say to them your Articles of Faith. And I realized that my father never went to the movies on Saturday morning. We went and we watched all of the cowboy Indian shows. In those days, we were not politically correct at all. All Indians were bad, and they were very scary.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't go into any more details than that, and they were all sneaky. If you were having a powwow or something with them, they would tomahawk you. And so it was terrible. And I realized, as it came out more and more clear where we were going, we were actually going onto the reservation to give a church meeting to real Indians. And I saw them around town. They looked scary to me when I was a little kid. So I strapped on my cap guns over my suit to go, and Mother made me take it off. And I said, I have to have them. She said, you have to not have them, and I'm going to put them away. And that's it. And so, I was naked among my enemies. And I went out, and as I got into the car, I thought, okay, I'm going to die today. Today, I'm going to die for the Lord. So we drove out, and I thought as soon as we opened the doors there, to open our car door, they'll kill us right then. And we arrived, and we opened our car doors, and nobody killed us. No Indian arrows, nothing. But we went into the building. I thought as soon as we go into that building, they're just waiting around the door. They'll get us then. But we went in, nobody was getting us. And then I thought, and they said, we'd like you to sit down on these rows. So I thought, this is it. We'll sit down here. They'll get behind us and tomahawk us. This are my real thoughts. I couldn't think of anything else. And, of course, almost trembling with fear. And I'm saying, okay, we'll do it. And so I think that, and it became my turn to get up. And I said, this is it. I'm going to get up and start doing the Articles of Faith, and they're going to throw a knife from the back of the thing. It'll stick me in my chest, and I'll be dead. And I got up there, and I had a hard time getting my Articles of Faith out because I kept watching for an instrument of death to go flying at me, and I got through. And then I sat down, and some brother there looked at my father and said, that was really wonderful. He told me that later on. I thought it wasn't very wonderful. I made all kinds of mistakes in there. However, nobody would have noticed. So I thought, we're going to have the closing prayer, then they'll get us. And they had the closing prayer, and it was all in Bannock. So there was, different words. I could pick out the prophets, so we could we knew we were praying for the. Anyway,
yeah.
The door opened, and I slipped right out and dashed to the car and hopped in and locked all the doors. My father always stayed around church talking with everybody forever. And I just sat there, finally he came over and the door was still locked, and I wasn't sure, but I did. I hadn't locked it to let him get in. And he got in, and we drove away, and when we drove away, I suddenly just relaxed like a little puddle on the seat. And he said, "What happened?" He said, "They didn't kill us." He said, "They didn't kill us. We got away." It wasn't until then that I realized what had been going through my mind the whole time, because I was nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof. But throughout the rest of my life, I've never had anything as scary as that, ever. Military, nothing in military was anywhere near as scary. On my mission, and we had a mob of young men come to shut us down. That wasn't anywhere nearly as scary. So it, gave me a high benchmark. And to this day, and I'm 77, I've never had anything quite as scary, ever. It's one of those things, if you understand how reading, and Father was no good. He was no help at all. He never went to a movie. Certainly not a cowboy movie Saturday morning. He absolutely had no idea what's going on.
That's funny.